I'm probably a strange candidate because I am a medical doctor. So I come from the hospital setting, and the GMAT was something that was not planned in my career. I took my first mock, and the result was so bad that I realized I needed to change plans. It didn't turn out just like that. So I spent a few months, I would say 3 to 4 months, uh, with this very, I would say, bad planning,
Mhm.
and um, and then something happened, meaning the opportunity to take the GMAT. I have to thank you. I cannot thank you enough. Let's say, Rita, you're amazing. Don't consider the GMAT a hustle that you have to push through in order to get it done with and move to the next topic. Your GMAT journey is part of your journeys.
Hi, Filippo. Congratulations on an amazing 760 score with a V46 and a Q48, a 210-point improvement overall, with a massive 15-point improvement in quant. It's a long list of achievements, and congratulations on all of them.
Hi, Rita. Thank you very much. It's been an amazing journey together on myself and together with you. It's been a great journey, an intense one, but such a successful one that I'm so happy. So thank you very much.
As you should be. You should be extremely, extremely proud of everything that you've achieved. It's not the kind of easy journey to achieve a 200 plus point improvement, but you've persevered, you've put in the effort, and now you've turned out successful on the other side, right? So, before we really delve into your story and how you managed to achieve this remarkable improvement, why don't you tell the audience and I a little bit more about yourself?
Yes, I'm probably a strange candidate because I am a medical doctor. So I come from the hospital setting, and the GMAT was something that was not planned in my career, and um, and I haven't touched many of the topics and subjects that GMAT deals with since a very long time. I haven't done mathematics in 10 years, and that partially explains the need for such an improvement in quant because I was starting off from a very bad position. So I'm a medical doctor and I am undergoing residency. I'm almost finishing up my residency program, and but throughout the years I have developed and exploited a passion in innovation in the medical sector to acquire a role in my hospital in the innovation team, which led to the opportunity to um, add a little bit more of a educational step in this sense, and therefore I was offered the possibility to pursue an MBA, acquire that knowledge, and then step back into healthcare management, with both a medical background and experience and the management side. So I was very excited by this opportunity, but then I discovered that the GMAT was in the way. I had to I had to pass the GMAT exam, and with all the things concerning my mathematical preparation and all the rest. So it was very exciting, but it was haunting me, the possibility to take this exam.
Mhm. It's an understandable concern to worry with these myriad of factors involved. But I know that once you decided to take the GMAT, you pretty much buckled down and decided to start preparing. Your initial couple of months of study was a self study, right? So, given that getting back into studying was new for you and that you were doing this alongside other commitments, how did you initially structure that phase of your preparation? And what did you really see as the output of that time?
Right. Yes, I started off independently as self-study, as I was used to in the medical course. I mean, we study alone for most of our journey, and
Mhm.
so I tried to apply the same strategy. Also, I took it not seriously enough, in the sense that I did not put a deadline on myself immediately, so I didn't truly know when to start and when to end my study. And therefore, I did not have any checkpoint to check for my progress in studying. So I relied, first of all, I looked at the GMAT exam. I tried to understand the structure. I saw that there were very famous books that could integrate both the theory behind topics present in the exam and some questions to try to attempt um, a similar environment for the test. So I booked one of those books and I relied on it completely, saying, okay, I have a book, I finished that book, and that is my preparation. I should be finished by then.
Mhm.
It didn't turn out just like that. So I spent a few months, I would say 3 to 4 months, um, with this very, I would say, bad planning.
Mhm.
And um, and then something happened, meaning um, the opportunity to take the GMAT, but most of all to apply for an MBA obliged me to look at deadlines, to look at when I have to apply and when I have to be able to have everything ready, the GMAT included, and therefore deadlines started to appear. And that is when I had to change my plan, because I tried to do some questions and tried to evaluate my performance up until then, and it didn't turn out to be as successful and as satisfying as I planned. Therefore, I looked and looked online. I did most of my research after 4 months of studying, which is late,
Mhm.
and I discovered that there were possibilities to have a thorough understanding of my preparation, and that was to take a mock, to take uh, um, let's say a full simulation of the GMAT exam.
Mhm.
And so I prepared for the mock. I tried to say, okay, I studied for 4 months. I should be ready.
Mhm.
So I took my first mock, and the result was so bad that I realized I needed to change plans,
Mhm.
and
I
that's where I changed.
I can understand how that score must have been a shock to you, right? You scored on your first mock, which was on the e-GMAT platform when you started out. You'd started out with a 550, with a Q33 and a V33. And this was after you'd done the entire book. So I think this was a good wake-up call to realize, things needed to change and they needed to change right now, right? That was a very key moment for you. Okay.
It was a shock. It
Yes.
was a shock.
So I know that at this point, this is when you came on board the platform, and one of the first things that you really did was that you made a plan. You made a study plan, and I want to really quickly show that plan as well, because you can see here that you had a timeline set out to take the test by the 11th of Jan and get a 750. But in fact, with just another additional about 14 to 15 days of effort, you surpassed your set goal of a 750 and reached a 760. So the plan really did work out very well for you overall. You surpassed your targets for verbal, definitely, and pretty much almost met your targets for quant, and overall went to a 760 around the 26th of June, right around that point in time. So
Yes, yes,
truly.
absolutely. I would say timing and the personalized study plan that e-GMAT offers, which is basically an agenda and a personalized calendar for studying and for going from one subtopic to the next, both in terms of uh, first stage learning, which is just uh, reading about the topic, learning the topic from the theory, and then second stage learning, which is applying the concepts and being capable of applying them without, let's say, the the typical environment where you just need to remember the concepts and just translate the concepts, but you need to apply them. And into stage 3 learning, which is mastering the concepts and truly integrating different skills from different subsections of the exams in order to tackle difficult questions. e-GMAT explains these 3 phases very, very well. I wasn't truly aware of the fact that we humans in any kind of learning attempt actually go through these 3 stages. And so the timing is crucial, because whenever somebody starts to study for the GMAT, one of the questions that is probably one of the first questions that has in the mind is, how long will I take?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is a very important question, but the answer is truly it depends. It depends from where you start. It depends from many other variables, which are, for example, how much time will you dedicate to studying, but not how much time as an absolute value, but how much time consistently and persistently in time to let the 3 stages of learning happen for you. And so the personalized study plan is a good way to have a glimpse of the time frame that separates you at present day to you at test day, prepared for the exam, fully prepared.
Absolutely. Very, very well said, right? So now you had a very clear idea of exactly what you needed to do, what that stage-wise execution would look like, what your milestones were, and you hunkered down, started executing. I know that you started with quant, which is where the bigger journey lies, because you were starting there from the 23rd percentile. So on your quant journey, you started with number properties. How did the quant course, really help you take yourself from that 23rd percentile to the level that you are now with that Q48?
The course has many advantages, I would say, because for somebody that is not like me, so is strong in quant, it allows to learn every subtopic, but much faster. It has a peculiarity, which is called the PACE system, that allows you to, let's say, be a little bit faster on things that you already mastered, but let's say that the system checks that you are really a master of, because it's not about what you think. It's a matter of what e-GMAT thinks about your mastery.
And what you
In my
prove about
case,
your mastery as well, right?
right, that's correct. And so in my case, I was happy not to exploit the pay system as much as I would probably want to, in order to keep times as tight as possible, because I wanted a teacher that could take me hand in hand and step by step through the process of learning concepts, mathematical concepts that might be very simple for many, but they were not for me. So I needed somebody who did not allow the preparation to be superficial and to give for granted concepts that weren't granted for me. And so the quant section of the course truly allowed me to reconsider all my mathematical foundations, to refresh them, and to solidify them in order to build the correct foundation upon which to structure all my preparation in quant. So I would say it's not only for me, for somebody like me who's weak in quant and therefore needed a much more detailed and slow approach, but it's also for somebody who's probably better off in quant, but still needs to master concepts, which is not easy and not a truly trivial task to achieve.
Oh, no, absolutely not. With 100 plus concepts, it is important that you look at every single one under a microscope and really figure out what needs your attention and what doesn't, right? Especially if you're starting out at a higher degree. So you laid that foundation really well as you went through the course. Another part of the course, though, are, if you remember, the GMAT skill files, where you had these guided activities and you actually tackled GMAT style questions. This came after you learned your concepts. How
Yeah.
did GMAT skill files really help you, and the GMAT process, quant process skills really help you when you were looking to move above your foundations and go into mastery?
Yes, I would say it is one of the first steps that um, it is a metaphor of the exam itself, let's say, because the GMAT skills sections allow you to take your understanding one step further. So
Mhm.
you've just done the whole course for the subtopic, let's say number properties. You've done all the sections, all the simple tasks that you have to follow and to learn and to take notes from. Okay, so you have the illusion of knowing the topic. That is I would say, the number one monster in GMAT preparation, the illusion of knowing.
Mhm.
GMAT skills practice files allow you to break that illusion and say, okay, number properties, as I have explained them until now, you have probably understood them. But let's try to put them in practice into GMAT style questions. Well, that becomes a more difficult task. And so it's the first step towards GMAT test preparation, meaning being prepared for test day.
Mhm.
It's not the last step, it's just the first step, but it's a required step in order to bring, let's say, ground level onto first level preparation. And so I would say it's even better to face that step a little more gradually, because more specifically, what e-GMAT does is to allow you to do a guided activity, let's say, onto GMAT skills, meaning you face GMAT level questions, but you have a way that teachers lead you towards the answer with more guidedly.
Mhm.
But later on, you have another kind of practice quiz where you have to show your skills. So truly, it's a matter of teachers taking your hand and guiding you step by step towards mastery, and not allowing your illusion of knowing to step in and to prevent you from truly mastering concepts. So it's a crucial key aspect of, I would say, the quant section for sure.
Mhm. So you'd worked on that, right? You'd worked to take yourself from the ground floor to the first floor. And once you'd done that for all the topics in number properties, that's where you moved to the second stage of learning, which was cementing on Scholaranium. What is cementing? What is Scholaranium? And why were they such an important part of your learning journey?
Yes, I would say they are important because they are not present anywhere else.
Mhm.
This is first incredible difference. With a book, you have, I would say, you have the first stage of learning. Maybe not as accurate, maybe you don't have any mentor, any teacher walking with you, but still you can achieve first stage learning. But you won't achieve stage two learning, which is cementing. Cementing, even as a word, means to solidify and to make something, uh, I would say, break proof, meaning it's unbreakable. Those foundations can stand difficult questions. So the cementing process is, I would say, a check with yourself and with your own preparation, facing medium level questions or hard level questions in the specific subsection you just studied, that allow to understand whether your foundations are truly solid and can be put to the side in order to step onto another subtopic, learn new things, and then at some point in time put together everything. Because in by doing only stage one learning, and passing from one topic to another topic, you kind of oversubscribe memories and you tend to forget things and to confound things. And therefore, when you have to put everything together and face difficult questions that probably won't test only number properties, but also word problems and also maybe a little bit of algebra, then the key skills need to be um, crystal clear and present and solid in order to dissect the question in each of its parts and to arrive to the correct solution. So second stage learning is probably what surprised me the most in e-GMAT preparation, because it focused on something that I never realized it was important, but revealed itself as crucial for preparation.
Got it. I know that alongside this cementing process and just using Scholaranium and taking quizzes, one of the most important things that you also did was maintain an error log, right? So, what was the role of that error log throughout your journey, and how was it useful to?
Absolutely. The error log is something, again, that participates to break the illusion of learning. Meaning, we all know um, in the preparation, we will do, as test takers, as students, we will do some questions correct and some questions incorrect, for sure. It will happen. But the important thing is not to do as many questions as possible and then try to be as correct as possible. The key thing is that any question you attempt, you learn from that question. So it's during the preparation, it's not only about making the correct choice in answering, but also making the correct choice by doing the correct steps leading to that choice. So applying the correct process skills. And also, whenever I made some question wrong, it was crucial to understand why. Why did I falter? Where did I stumble upon something that prevented me to arrive to the correct solution? Without analyzing this part, you miss a huge step of learning. Actually, I would say that stage 3 learning, which is after the cementing and therefore requires you to master concepts and to put everything together, without the error log, I would say it's truly difficult to graduate from stage 3 learning. So the error log is something that allows you to understand each bit of information that is required to answer correctly to the question, and therefore signal and highlight your missing spots. For me, there was a double effort in this sense. In quant, populating my error log was just about making, I don't know, it was a self-sacrifice act, meaning, okay, I did the quiz, I made some questions wrong, why should I even spend time on analyzing how bad I am in answering? No, that I would say self-reflection and self-empathy is there's no role for that in GMAT preparation. You need to be objective and focused and absolutely fill in your error log consistently. But it was even more important in my verbal preparation because, again, the illusion of learning. I thought I was much better in verbal than in quant. So my illusion of learning was to be good enough. I didn't need any improvement in verbal. Well, the error log again was the proof that I faltered in some questions. I did some alarming mistakes, and that is where you need to start from in order to understand which problem you are facing and improve your own skills. So the error log is crucial again, maybe for more important in stage 3, but important across the whole journey, I would say.
I think you've put that across very, very well, because in order to go from good to great, right? For verbal, for example, you'd not started out at that place. You were already at the 60th percentile, which is no mean feat. But to go to that 99th percentile, identifying the small little cracks in your ability, that was a very, very crucial step that you absolutely needed to take in order to really improve and perfect your process, right? So that's very well said. Before we pivot to stage 3 and the things that came along with that stage, one thing you mentioned was verbal. Now, I know that overall you started out at a much better place in verbal, but I think one particular skill really played a crucial role in that journey to a V46, and that is pre-thinking, right? So, in just a line or two, what is pre-thinking?
Yes, pre-thinking is a skill. Is a skill that does not come natural, I believe, to most students, and is a skill that e-GMAT teaches perfectly and stresses so much. You, at a certain point, ask yourself, why didn't I know it before? Because it's truly crucial. Pre-thinking allows you to analyze a question in the verbal section, especially critical reasoning, and also a little bit reading comprehension, um, in order to allow your mind not to slip in the logical reasoning of the question, but to grasp each single detail that the question provides, and to perfectly understand and master the logical steps required to solve the question. Pre-thinking allows you to reach the answer before looking at the answer. So knowing the correct answer, or perhaps more than one correct possible answer, possible scenario, let's say, and to allow you to just try to look for the correct scenario in the answer choices. This allows you not to fall in a very important trap that the GMAT exam lays out for you, which is creating answer choices which are very seducing and very appealing to be clicked on and and to go next to the other question. Because of course, whenever we talk about medium level or hard level verbal questions, we talk about very finely tuned questions, which is not possible to solve by just skim through the text, grasp superficially the meaning of the question, and then select the most appealing answer. That is not the correct process in the GMAT exam. You need to have skills that allow you to dissect the question and pick correctly the correct choice and exclude with confidence the wrong choices. This is a skill which is probably the single most useful present that I received from e-GMAT and e-GMAT's preparation, because I believe it's a skill that, yes, it is very useful in the GMAT, but it's useful in life in general. So it's something that you will work on for your test, but it will make your life better in any other domain.
Absolutely, right? That the fact that you've let things go with confidence is a very, very important skill. Like you said, not just in the GMAT, but in life in general. And I'm glad that pre-thinking was a tool that allowed you to attain that confidence, both in your quizzes, then in your mocks, and then finally on test day, right? So that's truly, truly wonderful. So, and when we talk about that confidence, I think we should also just take a quick second to look at how wonderful your stats are, because these are hard questions, and and you can see that you've attained an 80% accuracy on CR hard questions, whereas the target or the threshold that you just need to achieve is 55. So these accuracies, this 80 and 75, indicate that you're well within that 90 plus percentile. And I think that was very well represented on the final test day as well with that V46. So truly, you did nothing but replicate what you could already do when it came down to the actual D-Day. right? So that's really, really wonderful.
Absolutely. And it's again, e-GMAT's platform gives you the analysis to be confident of that, which comes from nowhere else, I would say. I mean, if you have a book in your hands or any other kind of not interactive preparation platform, you won't truly know where you stand at a particular moment. So whenever you have to trust the system. So I trusted e-GMAT completely whenever I asked you guys, but is it enough to have a, let's say, a 70% accuracy in medium questions? Is it enough? And you guys told me yes, we arrived to that let's say threshold uh, by following thousands of students. So yes, it is enough, but still push it even further. But still, it's let's talk about hard questions. At a certain point in your preparation, you would like to do everything correctly. You have to understand that that is not the way. I mean, it's not mandatory. It's not the objective to do everything correctly, but the objective is to acquire the skills to perform consistently over a certain threshold of accuracy. That is the goal. So Scholaranium, which is the platform where you can find all the questions and do all the quizzes and analyze your performances, allows you to have data analysis of your performances in time. So it's a very crucial tool to have in the preparation that allows you even to say, okay, maybe I wanted to set test day as we did actually on January 11th, but maybe we need to work a little bit more on these accuracies because they're not at satisfying level yet.
Mhm.
So let's take 1 week more, something like that. So Scholaranium is your friend, is not is a gym where you train and you get better. Is not something that you have to consider the haunting place where you will face your mistakes and your limits, and it will no. It's your gym and it's your friend.
Mhm. And I think that's the first time I've heard it put that way, but I'm glad that you were able to see it as a friend. And I think overall, what we should take a minute to pause and look at is the way that you've approached your entire prep, the attitude with which you've approached your entire prep, even when you had hurdles or pitfalls, when you were maybe starting out lower than you had hoped to. You've always worked with that laser sharp vision that, okay, this is where I need to get to. It's fine that I'm starting out here, but I just need to lay down the steps with which I need to get from point A to point B and execute those steps with to the best of my ability. And it's because you've worked with that single-minded focus and dedication that we're able to stand here now and celebrate, right? So just a
Yes.
pause to say kudos to you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
But okay, so at this stage, you'd laid all your foundations. You were doing very, very well, excellently across verbal. But I know that in quant, you were struggling a little bit to improve upon your hard accuracies. Medium, you'd reached exactly where you needed to be, but there was still room for growth on the quant side of things. And I think that's when Rajat reached out to you, correct?
Absolutely, yes. And we started off from a very interesting point of my preparation journey because I felt desperate. Let's say, I mean, because it's important for others to not to think that, oh yeah, he's got great accuracies, so he's always been very good at answering, so he didn't truly need any preparation. No. I was desperate, and my more extensive quizzes, let's say, that could in a way simulate the GMAT exam were not going as I expected. So and the deadline was approaching. I mean, yes, you can push exam date maybe a little bit in the future, but you cannot push it months or years later. So deadline was approaching. You start to feel the anxiety and the stress, and start to feel that. you've worked very hard, but then the accuracy might even struggle to improve. Maybe because you're not applying the correct steps, maybe because you're not using the error log in the most efficient way, maybe because you're just focused on doing more and more questions, but without learning from them. So that's where we met. I reached out and we we started an incredible journey together that fine-tuned my preparation, and that's where everything has to come together. So from your side, I had the support, the guidance, and the mentoring and the confidence to trust the process. I would say it's not even. I mean, you just reiterated elegantly and passionately concepts that I had already encountered in the e-GMAT platform. It's not that you taught me anything new. You just reiterated and convinced me and allowed me to trust completely the process and the system. And this is a very important aspect emotionally, to say, okay, 2 weeks are left before test day, but there is sufficient time to fine tune the areas where I'm lacking high accuracy in this moment, and so it was a special journey. I would say I have to thank you. I cannot thank you enough. Let's say, Rita, you're amazing. But yeah, it's a journey that we did together, but truly allowed me to perceive the quality of e-GMAT's process for learning. I could understand that it wasn't me, it wasn't my skills, it wasn't my previous preparation, it was the process that led me to score an amazing score. So thank you.
It was my sincerest pleasure to work with you these last almost 2 months, I guess, in this journey. But like I said, it's your determination, your strength of character, and your conviction in your destiny for success, we'll say, that has led us here. So I am so happy to have been a small part of your journey, but I played a supporting role. The main job was all you, right? And I'm just happy to have seen and been part of that in whatever capacity that I could have been. So congrats to you, right?
Okay, thanks.
But as part of stage 3, we worked to first, on the quant side of things, figure out where the gaps are and really work to enhance those, right? Make sure that we left no stone unturned. And once we'd done that, the next thing that we really moved on to was the mock stage. And the mock stage had its own ups and downs. Maybe what we can really do very quickly is also just show what your mocks look like, because most of your mock tests were taken on our platform. And you can see where definitely you had shown your ability and capability for success, right? With the 760, the 780, right? Where you improved dramatically in just 10 days, but also how that last mock perhaps didn't go exactly the way we planned. But let's not jump our horses, right? Let's start from the beginning of your mock journey. How did you feel when you scored the 680, and what did you change so that things could be better on that 760?
Yes, I think you touch a crucial point, because first of all, the second mock was in early January, I would say, yeah, the 7th of January, which is very far on the journey together, meaning my test date was going to be, let's say, in the second half of January. So I was very close to test day. So this is important to say, because after all the work that we've put in, and all the, let's say, the projections that Scholaranium as a platform and the accuracies thresholds that I reached were pointing at, was I would say a better result. So 680 was a good result. I mean, I was let's say happy. I was a little bit disappointed, actually, because I expected more. But what played an incredibly important part was that one thing is learning, one thing is doing GMAT skills practice quizzes. One thing is doing even more complex quizzes. One thing is doing a mock. One thing, a completely different thing is doing a whole test. Because other emotional aspects play a part. You get anxious for the mock. You want to perform well. You're a bit stressed. You don't have all the time in the world to stop the test and take your water and do other things in the meantime. You have to perform from the beginning to the end in one straight line. Therefore, mocks are an incredible gym for not only testing your competences and your process skills that you've matured in the course, but also your physical ability to withstand test performance. And your mental focus needs to be sharp from minute one to the end of the test. So I would say that this 680 was disappointing. And the immediate consequence and interpretation that one could have taken out of this result was, okay, I'm not prepared enough. I haven't learned enough. I'm still weak in quant. Let's say that. But then, and that's what I did probably. But Rita here and you, Rita, are amazing because you helped me once again, populate the error log, analyze my mistakes, analyze my performance, and give names to the mistakes and give names to the cracks in my performance. And that's where I understood, well, but I didn't do mistakes because I didn't know the concepts. I actually sometimes even reached the correct solution, but maybe I picked the wrong one by clicking on the screen. Or I assumed so many things in my process because I felt too confident of the process skill that I missed some calculation mistake. And then I said the word silly. I made some silly mistakes. And you correct me on that, which was a crucial point in our journey. And you, Rita, told me, I don't want the word silly to be ever again in your vocabulary because it's not about silly mistakes. It's about something that happened that may vary from you to other students that hampers your ability to pick the correct solution. Doesn't matter if it's distraction, if it's anxiety, if it's maybe a problem of truly mastering a concept, but you need to identify which is which and what is your problem here for every question. And so that explains how in 1 week, probably 10 days, the next mock, third mock, was an incredibly 100 points higher than that. And the mock after that was even higher.
780.
But again, I would say life is and GMAT journey are incredible teachers because my last mock was much lower than the previous two. Why that? Because again, it wasn't at that point I couldn't tell myself, I couldn't elude myself to say I don't know the concepts. I haven't mastered the concepts. Well, if you've scored a 780, for sure you know how to solve questions. Otherwise you don't score it. It's no matter of luck, I would say. So that last mock, the fifth mock, is probably one of the most useful learnings that I take from both my GMAT journey and my future career and life, because again, maybe the illusion of competence, the anxiety, the test day was very close, and I'm not sure, the emotional state where I was in participated to a 100-point drop. And it was very humbling and very intense as a learning to take home and to face test day with the comprehension that I needed to be focused and present with myself on test day. Yes, it is about the process. Yes, it is about the whole months spent studying and all the things we exchange in between us, Rita. But on test day, you have to be present with yourself. It's not only about what you've done in the past, it's what you do that day. And so this is probably the last step to acquire and to achieve the ability to be present and to conquer not only questions, but yourself and your own emotional reaction to how the test goes before the test, all the checks you have to do. And I mean, it's another part of the test itself. It's not a theory, but it's practice. So yeah, the mocks journey was intense.
Was intense. But you took all of those learnings, right? From Mach 1 to Mach 4, right? You made sure that whether it was to name your mistakes appropriately or be present or to just even trust the fact that if you're in this stage now, it's because you were meant to be in this stage and you'd already reached the right thresholds and accuracies and achieved the right skill sets to be here. So all of those journeys, all of those learnings, you really took them in and then took everything that you possibly needed from that mock journey. And of course, we see that in that wonderful, wonderful result of that 760 with, like I said, that amazing V46 and a Q48, which is essentially a 15-point improvement on the quant side and a 13-point improvement on verbal and 210 overall. Truly, truly, truly amazing, and not the kind of thing that a lot of people would be able to pull off without the kind of clarity of vision that you've had throughout, right? So, yes.
I'm very happy. I'm truly happy, and yes, this journey has had so many positive consequences that I'm truly, truly honored and happy to be in this position.
I'm so glad to hear that. So now that you can stand here, happy with clarity, with vision, right? If you had to look back 6 months or more, or if you had to give advice to now someone else who's just starting out on their GMAT journey, which in this case will now be for the new version of the exam. But what piece of advice would you have to give? What should someone who's just starting out or who's stuck somewhere in their prep keep in mind as they try to cross that hurdle?
Yes, I would say the most important thing we've talked about mastering concepts, meaning learning the theory, practicing with quizzes, and we've talked about attempting to do mocks, so to perform simulations of the test, and then even how the performance on test day itself is crucial. So if I have to give an advice, I would try to put everything together and say that GMAT preparation should not be intended as something that has to be pulled off because the objective is something else, is to be admitted, is to get into the MBA, is to pursue an incredible career which lies in the future. Yes, of course, the GMAT is a key tool to achieve all of those future successes and is the way through that journey. So I'm not saying that it's not important. On the contrary, but I would say that a crucial aspect is to consider the GMAT journey a goal by itself. It's something that will enrich your life. It will enrich your capability to do your application better. You will write better. You will consider your own reflections that you will have to put in the application in a more in a clearer and more accurate way, and you will perform better in the MBA. That is what everybody told me that has already gone through the GMAT journey and the MBA and said it's an incredible good proxy. Not only because the things you study are probably somewhat replicated in the MBA, for sure some numbers are there, but it's the process that will be essential to keep with you and to apply in the future. So don't consider the GMAT a hustle that you have to push through in order to get it done with and move to the next topic. Your GMAT journey is part of your journey. It's part of your career. It's something that you can talk about even in future, let's say, steps of your career by saying, this is proof of my dedication. This is proof of my effort. this is proof of my capability to change and to apply myself and acquire skills. So it's something that, yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's hard. It requires sacrifices in life, in personal life, and in professional life, but it's something worth it. And it's not just a little rock in the shoe that is very annoying, and you have to get it out as soon as possible. I would say this allows you to have the correct frame of mind in order to face all difficulties with the right mindset.
Very, very well put. I don't think I have anything to add to that. I think you've given some very truly important advice there. And with that, also a very good place for us to close our interview, right? So I'll take this opportunity to once more say thank you so much and congratulations. And from everyone here, all the very, very best for everything that is to come next. And congrats.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And I wish the best to everyone facing this incredibly intense but satisfying journey.
Yeah. So to everyone out there, take what you can from Filippo's journey. But until we hear of your GMAT success, take care, all the best, and happy learning. Bye-bye.